Welcome to the Quiet Your Inner Mean Girl podcast, a place for you to find the courage you need to take the first step and every step thereafter to create the habits, the confidence, and the life that you love. I'm your host, health and life coach, Abby Hegney. Let's dive in. Welcome back to episode 43 of the Quiet Your Inner Mean Girl podcast. I'm your host, Abby Hegney, and this is the place for women who want to feel healthy and confident while living a life that they love. I promise you, ladies, it is possible. And I love the topic that we are going to talk about today. And at the end of today's episode, I have a special announcement, so stay tuned. Today, we are going to talk about becoming the woman who feels confident in who she is and what she does. Becoming the woman who feels healthy and in control, who knows exactly how to eat for her body, who no longer obsesses about food or restricts what she can eat or feels deprived. Becoming the woman who feels taken care of, who's consistent, who feels at home in her body, who creates habits that she can maintain with ease, who takes responsibility for what she wants and how to get it. The woman who is living her life in a way that she loves. This episode is especially geared to you if you feel like you have been trying so hard and you can't seem to figure it out. If you feel like you have done everything and nothing seems to move the needle. If you want it so badly, but feel defeated from being at it for so long and you don't know if you have the energy to continue in the fight. This episode is here to show you that it is possible, and that possibility opens up when you are willing to see things differently, when you're willing to shift your perspective, and you're willing to allow yourself to feel differently about your journey. It comes from believing that feeling healthy and confident doesn't have to be a fight. If there is one thing that I have learned from my own journey of going from hating my body and deeply criticizing my body to feeling really proud of the body that I have, it's that seeing your journey as a fight will always make it harder. The way in which we create the habits that we want and the way in which we transform our lives is the way in which we have to maintain it. So if you create it being in a fight with yourself, with food, with movement, with your body, with the process, you will always be in a fight. You will have to stay in that fight to keep it going. Or you'll lose that fight and you'll go back to the fight in which you started with. Something that makes my program really unique is this concept of becoming, from a focus of building your confident self. This is slightly different than your future self, which I've talked about on an earlier episode. And the way that I see this is your future self is the destination. Becoming is the GPS. It's the directions. It's how you move yourself from where you are right now to where you want to be. Generally speaking, we put a heavy emphasis on doing. And the way in which this presents when I talk with women or when I coach them is that they believe that they have tried everything and nothing works. They feel like they have been working so hard and their efforts don't match their results. They're frustrated and they're disappointed. They're burnt out or they're on their way to burning out because they are so overwhelmed with trying to do it right. And they're so bogged down by all of the things that they think that they need to do. And gosh, if you spend just 3 minutes on the internet, it quickly becomes very confusing. Everyone is telling you a different way. And all of the ways in which they are telling you seem to be the right way. The right thing to eat, what's good and what's bad, the right way to work out, the right amount of time to work out. the right amount of sleep to get, the right things to do in order to get that amount of sleep. The list goes on, and it's exhausting. It's an overload of information that keeps you from starting. You don't even know where to start. Or you do start and it makes you give up somewhere along the way because you think you're doing it wrong. It becomes a cycle that you live into. And in order to create the habits that you want, in order to lose weight and feel stronger and healthier and more confident, in order to feel proud of the body that you have and to be the example that you want to be, you do have to take action. But there's a big difference in taking action from a place of pressure, feeling like you have to do it, you need to do it, you should do it, it's the right thing to do, and taking action from a place of wanting to do it. There's a big difference between thinking you need to work out for 30, 45, 60 minutes every day and allowing what you can do today to be enough. There's a big difference between eating right and eating right for you. There's a big difference between thinking that you have no control and allowing all foods to fit within your life in a way that supports you, that supports your goals and your body and the entirety of your life. Food is enjoyment. It's love and it's family and it's friends. And finding a way to enjoy it in a way that makes you feel supported matters. There's a big difference between going through the motions just to check a box and going through with intention, purpose, and desire. Being good, doing all of the right things, criticizing my body in an attempt to love my body, moving only to stay small never worked. It checked all of the boxes, but it always felt so hard. It was so much effort for such a little return. And it created a lot of unhappiness. It kept me in this loop, starting and stopping, constantly criticizing, listening to my inner mean girl, telling myself that I can't. Doing alone doesn't create change. All of that effort I put in was never enough because my inner mean girl was constantly telling me it's not enough. And that followed me through my journey. No matter what I was doing, it was never enough. Nothing was ever enough. The same is true for believing that I needed to hate my body in order to change my body. Those stories didn't change because I worked harder. They didn't change because I was more consistent or more motivated or I found more willpower. They didn't change by doing more. It just really led me to believing that I always had to be doing something more. And the thought of having to do more is why it felt so hard. I already felt like I was doing so much. When you shift your focus from doing to becoming, everything changes. It opens you up to exploring the entirety of the change process, not just the steps you take, but how you feel when you take them, and also what you are willing to feel. Most of us are unwilling to feel discomfort. It's why we eat when we're bored and stressed and overwhelmed. It's why we scroll and we shop. It's why we give up when it feels hard. Change doesn't feel good all of the time. It rarely feels easy or comfortable, but only because it's new. Your brain doesn't like new things. Your brain likes efficiency. It's why your inner mean girl tells you stories that pull you back into the comfort of what you know. It's also about how you talk to yourself. And I want you to really hear this. The foundation of creating change in your life is held up by the way in which you speak to yourself. It's why I am so passionate about helping you to see the stories of your inner mean girl and to quiet them down. If you continue to believe the stories that your inner mean girl tells you, you will continue to feel stuck. You will go back to what you know. It's that repeat cycle. And listen, there is no shame and there is no judgment if you have been doing this. Most people do this. I did this for 20 years. I don't want you to spend 20 years or another year or even another week doing this. I want you to see what's possible when you change your approach, when you do things differently, when you shift from who you've always been to who you are becoming. So let's talk about what it means to focus on becoming. When you focus on becoming, what you're really doing is shifting your focus inward and forward. You make decisions based on how you want to feel, what you want to be doing, who you want to be. You focus on the time and the energy that you have today. You allow it to be enough. You use it in a way that makes you feel good, a way that makes you feel proud, a way that energizes you and that moves you forward. And every time that you show up, you create evidence that it's possible, that you are capable. Your brain is always searching for evidence. This is why focusing on becoming is so important. It's very different than what we most commonly do. Most of us look outward and backwards. We compare ourselves to others. We want to see and know what they are doing. We think if it worked for them, then it's got to work for us. This pattern spiraled me in frustration and doubt and overwhelm for years and years and years. What works for someone else may never work for you. It took me a long time to realize this. Your body, your time, your life is completely unique. When you compare and try to mirror what others are doing and the results that they have achieved, what we do is we end up completely disregarding our individuality. We try to stuff our lives into a tiny little box that it was never meant to be in. We look at everything that we have always done and we believe the stories that I'm really bad at. I can never stick with anything. I'm not the kind of person who can. I've never been able to. Those stories are your inner mean girl, pulling you back into the comfort of what you know, what you've always done. When we look to our past to determine our future, we will only create another version of our past. The future that you want to create for yourself, whether it is slightly different or majorly different from where you are right now, won't make any sense to who you've always been and what you've always done. From a goal perspective, in terms of imagining what it will be like when you're there, absolutely. You'll see it, you'll want it. But from an implementation perspective, it won't make any sense. Not because it's not possible or because you aren't capable, but because you haven't done it yet. This is what trips us up most of the time. Doing what you've always done will make sense. Listening to your inner mean girl, believing the stories that she tells you will make sense. Carrying around the same old doubts will make sense. It will feel safer, more comfortable, but it's temporary comfort. And temporary comfort leads to long-term discomfort. It keeps you feeling uncomfortable in your own skin. It keeps you in the cycle of starting and stopping, in the pattern of comparing yourself to others and believing that they can do it and you can't. It keeps you judging and criticizing your body, trying to hate your way to change. It keeps you from taking care of yourself. Temporary comfort creates more frustration, more disappointment, more doubt. It amplifies the voice of your inner mean girl. You create more and more evidence that proves that you're really bad at, that you can never stick with anything, that you're not the kind of person who can, that you've never been able to, that it's so hard. But when you focus on becoming, when you go inward and forward, the complete opposite is true. You create more of what you want. Every time you make a decision based on how you want to feel, based on the habits and the confidence that you want to create, it builds evidence that it's possible, that you are capable. It's why it's so much more effective to take 10 minutes for yourself every single day versus thinking you need 60 minutes and you're only able to do that once a week. In that 1 week, you've decided 7 times that you are the woman who takes time for herself every day. You've created evidence 7 times over that it's possible for you to take time for yourself no matter how busy your day is. You leaned into possibility. You showed yourself that you are capable. You quieted your inner mean girl time and time again versus doing it once, trying to do it right by taking 60 minutes, and now having 6 days of evidence that you can't do it. You see the difference? Most of us tell ourselves that it's not enough. When you are focused on doing, it will never be enough. But when you shift your focus to becoming, it's everything. Becoming isn't about perfection. It's about consistently choosing what you want over what's easy, what's comfortable over what you know, what's possible over what you believe is probable. We think that change has to be hard. We think it's complicated. We think it comes from this massive effort. But real transformation comes from the small decisions we make daily, from the time and the energy that we have available to us today. It comes from doing things differently, from seeing things differently, from speaking different words to yourself. Words that you need to hear, words that motivate and inspire versus words that you're used to saying that drag you through the mud. Real transformation comes from becoming. So that is this week's podcast. And I want to invite you to join me on Thursday, April 17th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time for a free webinar on becoming the confident woman that you are meant to be. We are going to take what I gave you today and go deeper. I'm going to teach you a simple process for becoming the woman that you want to be, the one who creates and maintains habits with ease, the one who feels confident in her body, in who she is and what she does, the one who goes inward and forward. It will save you so much time and energy that you are used to spending trying to muscle through doing all of the things. It will take you out of the fight and create confidence and ease in your life. So again, April 17th, 12 p.m. Eastern. There is a link in the show details for you to register. Go there right now and register, and I can't wait for you to dive into this work. I will see you there. If you are ready to quiet your inner mean girl, I invite you to join me inside Confident Mind and Body, my private coaching program, where you will learn to quiet your inner mean girl and create the habits, the confidence, and the life that you love. Just visit wellnesswithabbych.com and schedule a free consultation.